And once you gather your things, please join me and take a seat on your mat, on your blanket. And having done that, I invite you to close your eyes or lower your lids. Connect with your breath. Take some nice deep breaths in and out. Slow your breath down. Come inside. Leave the outside world for now. Come into this present moment inside your own body, inside your own being. Tune in to the silence within. And from this point, bring some awareness to your spine. Beginning with the tailbone. Visualize it as a taproot, growing down into the earth. Drawing energy and sustenance all the way up the spine, all the way up the central energy channel, right alongside the spine. Lengthening, growing tall, sending that energy all the way up and out the crown of your head. Lifting and lengthening towards the sky. Feeling connected to both the grounded quality of the earth and the expansive quality of the sky. Then notice your shoulders and consciously let them sink away from the ears, down towards the hips. Feel your heart. Bring a little lift to your heart and soften your jaws, soften your face and your eyes, your brow. And from here, if there's inner guidance that speaks to you for your practice today, take a little listen. And practicing again some metta, loving kindness, what the world needs now. Let's practice this morning for all beings. May all beings be patient and peaceful. May all beings be healthy and strong. May all beings be safe and protected. May all beings be filled with loving kindness and forgiveness. May all beings live with ease and grace. May all beings be patient and peaceful. May all beings be healthy and strong. May all beings be safe and protected. May all beings be filled with love and kindness and forgiveness. May all beings live with ease and grace. And just take a moment, and if there's anyone, including yourself, who you'd like to practice for, let's take a few moments and send metta to that being. And then please join me in chanting one Om this morning. Bring your hands together in Anjali Mudra, right in front of your heart. Take a few cleansing breaths, just a couple cleansing breaths. Nice deep breath in and let it go. Another one like that. And let that one go too. And inhale and let's begin. Om. Then please release your hands. Let them rest in your lap or on your legs. Lift your eyelids. Allow the focus to grow clear. No rush, just ease. Let's come onto our backs to begin our practice this morning. And you can move your blanket aside. And as you arrive on your back, on your mat, please bring yourself into constructive rest pose with your knees bent and your feet on the mat, hip width distance apart, second toes facing away from you. Let's start with pelvic clock, just to warm up the spine. Before we begin, take a little lift of your pelvis up off the mat, lengthen through your tailbone, and then lower back down. Lengthen the back of your neck. Feel the ease through your back body as it lays on the mat. And we'll begin by lifting the tailbone and drawing the belly in. And then on an inhalation, send the tailbone towards the earth, arching through the lower back. Exhale, draw the belly in, lift the tailbone. Inhale, other direction. Let's take 6 or so more of these. Coordinate with your breath. And relax your shoulders best you can. And 2 more full cycles. And then come to neutral, please. And we'll take it from the right to the left, or 9 to 3, or 3 to 9. Either way, make the movement originate in the pelvis. And let's do 3 more. And then please come to neutral once again, and we'll take the whole clock, all the numbers on the clock, going either way. We'll do it on both sides, 5 times on both sides, all the way around. Rotating the pelvis all the way around. And then go the other direction. Keeping the shoulders relaxed best you can. And after you've completed 5, please come to neutral once again. Notice your chin, if it's lifted up, lengthen the back of your neck, please. And on an inhalation, draw one knee at a time towards your chest. Flex your feet. And just let those leg bones draw down toward your chest with ease. Take your time, waking up the body. Relax the shoulders and the face. Keep the back of the neck long. Good. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, lower your feet to the mat once again. On your next breath in, draw your right knee in towards your chest. We'll take Ardha Apanasana. Hug it in. 35-45% muscle energy. Keep the foot active. Take another breath in. And as you exhale, send the left leg along the mat, nice and long. Press out through the sole of that foot. Stay with the breath. Notice any shifts or changes as they occur through the pelvis, the lower back, the legs. Stay aware of your chin. If it lifts, lengthen the back of your neck. And option to lift that extended leg up off the mat. Press out through the sole of the foot. You could stay right there. Or another option is to outer rotate from the head of that thigh bone all the way down through the sole of the foot. Couple breaths here. And then bring the leg back to neutral. And take an inner rotation all the way from the head of the thigh bone through the toes of the extended leg foot. Couple breaths here. And then return back to neutral. Press out again through the ball of the foot, the big toe pad. Draw the baby toes towards the shoulders. Take a breath in. And if you've lifted your leg, as you exhale, lower it back down to the mat. Couple more breaths here. Doing your best to relax your shoulders, lengthen your neck. And take a breath in. And as you exhale, lower your right foot to the mat. Bring the left to join it. Take a few breaths, just feeling into the inner body. Again, notice your chin. If it's lifted up, lengthen the back of your neck. And on your next inhalation, draw your left knee in, flex the foot. Draw the knee in 35% towards your upper body. Relax the shoulders. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, send your right leg long on the mat. Press out through the sole of the foot, especially the big toe pad, drawing the baby toes towards their respective shoulders. You can stay right here, or optionally, you can lift your leg a couple inches off the mat. Other option is to rotate from the head of that thigh bone, your right thigh bone, all the way down to the sole of your right foot. And then rotate back to neutral, please. Take an inner rotation. All of this is optional. And then bring the leg back to neutral. Inhale. Exhale, lower the leg to the mat. Notice any shifts or changes as they occur. Staying long from the tailbone through the crown of the head. Take a breath in. Exhaling, lower your left foot to the mat and bring your right foot to join it. Take a couple more breaths right here. And then on an inhalation, roll onto your right side and use your hands and arms to press up, and we'll come to child's pose. Take it nice and slow. Bring your big toes together, knees hip-width distance apart. Use any props that are helpful in your practice. Grow the spine long. Draw the belly in. Draw the shoulder blades down the back body towards the hips. And then hinging right at the hip joint, right at the hip crease. Come forward, lengthening over your thighs and over the earth. Bring your arms overhead. Press into the palms, into the fingertips. Lower down. You can use a blanket or a block under your head. Staying with your breath to assist the fascia to release and let go. Draw the belly in. Draw the inner groins in and back. Breathe into the back body. You can claw your fingertips into the mat, drawing your upper body towards the upper portion of your mat, the head of your mat. Staying with the breath. Take a couple more breaths right here. Breathe into the back body, into the sacral area, in the back of the pelvis. Breathe into the mid-back where your kidneys live at the base of your ribs. And into the upper back and the upper ribs behind your heart. Relax your face. Relax your jaw. On your next breath in, bring your hands under your shoulders. Spread your fingers wide and press up. Come back up to sit nice and tall and bring your hands behind you. So we're in hero's pose or thunderbolt pose. Bring your hands behind you, interweave the hands and press them down towards the earth. Open up through the pectorals, the scalenes. Lift through the crown of your head. Maybe lengthen the neck, tilt your head to either side. Feel a stretch that feels good for you. Good. Then release your hands and let's come to table pose. Flat back best you can, or long back. I really am not fond of flat back. We don't have flat backs. We have long, beautiful backs with natural curvatures in the spine. So rather than hanging in the torso, we're activating the core to support the spine. Turn your toes under and then take a breath in. We'll take some cat-cows, just a couple cat-cows. Exhaling, draw the belly in and back. Press the tops of the feet into the mat. Inhale, turn the other way. Turn the toes under. Lengthen the head, the neck, the spine. Exhale, draw the belly in. Press the tops of the feet into the mat. Arch up like a Halloween cat. And one more time, both directions. Inhale, open the heart, lift the tail towards the sky. Exhale, draw the belly in. Good. From here, we're going to come into puppy pose. So walk your knees back, keep your hips right over your knees, and then take your arms out in front of you, lengthening through the whole spine. And you can bring your head to the mat. Optionally, you can bring one arm under your head. If that feels better, please listen to your body. Do that. Taking a few breaths here, lengthening through the arm bones, the back body opening through the shoulders, the front body. Take a few breaths right here, right where you are. And if you've chosen to bring one arm under, then please change sides. So you get a nice stretch through both sides. Nice, long, slow breaths in and out. Draw the belly in, support the spine. Soften your face, soften your jaw. Couple more breaths. And then please bring your hands under your shoulders and press up. Come back to table pose and send your hips from side to side. And let's take child's pose once again. Sit back. See how it feels this time. Notice any differences, any shifts, any changes. Take a moment to breathe circumferentially into 360 degrees in the ribs. Enjoy some full deep breaths in and out. And then bring your hands again under your shoulders, press up, and please join me in dolphin pose. So we'll bring our elbows to the mat And stack the hips over the knees. I like to clasp my hands and bring my elbows a little closer in than shoulder width distance apart. And then as I press into the elbows, they widen out just a bit, and that way they don't span out beyond the shoulders. Press into the forearms, turn your toes under, take a breath in and press up. Haven't done downward dog for a while. This feels so good. Stretch out those legs. You can bicycle the legs. Draw the belly in and really reach out through the heels. And then press both heels towards the earth. Lengthen through those hamstrings and calves. Keep pressing into the forearms. Take a breath in. Let the breath go. And on your next inhalation, lower your knees to the mat. And as you exhale, sit back again in child's pose. Lift your arm bones up off the mat and notice any shifts or differences in child's pose. As the fibers of the body warm up and stretch. And maybe you roll your forehead back and forth on your mat. Soften your face, soften your jaw. Press into the fingerprints, into the mat, and then draw your shoulder blades down towards your hips, lengthening the spine. Couple breaths here. Deep, full breaths in and out. And on your next breath in, bring your hands again under your shoulders, spread the fingers wide, press up, and we'll come back into dolphin once again. We're going to do it 2 more times. Bring your elbows under your shoulders and a little inside. Firm into those forearms. Stack the hips over the knees, turn your toes under, and press up. So the head is right in between the upper arms. Take a couple of breaths here. Feel firm and secure in your dolphin pose. And on an inhalation, lift your right leg up to the sky. Press out through the toes. Breathe here. Good. Inhale. Exhale, lower that foot to the mat. Next breath in, firm into your right foot and lift your left up to the sky. Press into the forearms, reach out through the toe tips. Inhale. Exhale, lower the leg to the mat. Take a breath in, lift the hip crease up towards the sky. And as you exhale, lower your knees. And once again, please sit back into child's pose, keeping your arm bones and your wrists lifted up off the mat, pressing into the fingertips and palms. Again, draw the belly in, draw the inner groins in and back. Feel that awesome stretch along the back body and the ribs. Draw the shoulder blades towards the hips. Enjoy your breaths, big breaths in. Filling the ribs, exhale, let it go. Another one like that. On your next breath in, please bring your hands under your shoulders, spread the fingers wide, and lift back up. We'll come back into dolphin once again. Bring your forearms to the mat, elbows just a little bit short of shoulder width distance apart. A little inside the shoulder span, but under the shoulders. Hips over the knees. Turn the toes under and press up. This time, step your feet the width of your mat. Lift your hips high. Press into the heels. Lengthen through the calves and the hamstrings. Head is just between the upper arms. Lift the hip crease towards the sky. Take a few breaths here. Inhale, exhale. And then step the feet back to hip width distance apart. Take a breath in, lift the hips high, and as you exhale, lower the knees. And again, we'll sit back, child's pose. Feel the shoulders, the pectorals. Breathe into the rib cage. Big breaths in and out. Feel your back body now. Notice the shifts and changes. Relax your face. Draw the belly in and back. And then please bring your hands under your shoulders, spread your fingers wide, press up, and we'll come to table pose. Bring your blocks to the front of your mat. And we're going to press up into downward facing dog. I'm going to turn my hands out to relieve pressure on my thumbs. I'm just letting you know it's an option. You can also turn your hands in if that feels better, or keep them straight with the middle finger facing forward, more traditional. Take a breath in, turn the toes under, and lift the hip crease high to the sky. Ooh, that feels good. Breathe into the stretch, breathe into the side bodies. Few breaths here as you lift through the sits bones and send them back towards the wall behind you, lifting out of the shoulders. Take a couple more breaths here. Spread your toes wide. Bring the heels right behind the widest part of your foot. Inner rotate at the head of the thigh bones. And on your next inhalation, bend your knees, look to the front of your mat, and step up towards your hands. Uttanasana, forward fold. Take your elbows into each hand, cupping your elbows, and give yourself a nice little swing from side to side. And then please place your hands at your hips, lengthen your spine, press into all four corners of both feet, and with the strength of your legs, rise up, Tadasana. Bring your hands to either side of your body. I'm just going to do a little adjustment here. There we go. Okay. Take a breath in and bring your hands together in Anjali Mudra, please. Feel into all four corners of both feet. Make sure the feet are under your hip sockets. Connect with your breath. Do your best to stack your ears over your shoulders, shoulders over your hips, hips over your ankles. Lift your heart, Draw your belly in. Notice the length of the spine. Press into all four corners of your feet and activate the feet. Draw the arches up, firm into all four corners of both feet. Press the feet away from one another isometrically and feel that energy move up, all the way up. Stay with the breath. And on your next breath in, press your hands together. As you exhale, release your hands to either side. On an inhalation, sweep the arms up to the sky, fingertips touch. And as you exhale, extend the arms out and float down. Find the blocks or the mat. Inhale, head lifts, spine lengthens, draw the belly in, shoulder blades hugging towards one another on the back body. As you exhale, hinge at the hips, inner rotate at the head of the thigh bones and bow in. Inhale, head lifts, spine lengthens, belly draws in. As you exhale, inner rotation at the head of the thigh bones, bow to the legs, lift the hips high. Inhale, head lift. Exhale, bow to the legs, bring your hands to either side of your shins. Squeeze in and inner rotate at the head of the thigh bones. Inhale, place your hands on your shins, lengthen over the mat. Exhale, bow, press in on the calves. Inhale, hands to shins, lengthen the spine. Exhale, bow. Inhale, lift, press onto the shins. Next time you exhale, let your hands come to the blocks or the mat. Bow in. And on your next breath in, extend the arms out to either side, lift to lengthen over the earth. And inhale, press up. Fingertips come to the sky. Clasp your left hand around your right wrist. Press out through the right palm into the right foot. Inhale, lift out through that palm and exhale into a crescent to the left. Good. Inhale, press into your left foot to come back up and switch the hold on your wrists. On your next inhalation, press into the left foot out through the left palm, and as you exhale, crescent over to the right. Let your hip come out to the left. Inhale, come back up. Reach the fingertips tall to the sky, shoulder blades down the back. And as you exhale, come to prayer hands right in front of your heart. Good. Let's add on. Inhale, press hands, press into all four corners of both feet. Exhale, release. Lift the heart. Inhale, sweep the arms up to the sky, fingertips touch. Exhale, hinge at the hips, open the arms, float down. Find your blocks or your mat. Lift the hips high to the sky, sits bones lifting up. Inhale, head lifts. Draw the belly in. Exhale, bow to the legs. One more time. Inhale, head lifts, long spine. Exhale, bow to the legs. Adding on now, inhale, bend your knees. Frame your feet with your blocks or your hands. And as you exhale, extend your right leg back behind you. Press out through the heel of that foot. Firm into all four corners of the front foot. And bring your hand to your knee. Lift up. Press out through that back heel. And if it feels good, take the arms out to either side. And on an inhalation, lift the arms up. Couple breaths here. Inhale. Exhale, lower the arms. You can bring them back to your knee. And then find your blocks. Take a breath in as you press out and lengthen through the back heel. And as you exhale, lower your knee to the mat. Stay right here. Make sure your knee is over your ankle, foot. Option to take the arms out to the side. Option to take a breath in, lift the arms up. Fingertips can touch overhead and lift the heart towards the sky. Take a couple breaths here, small back bend in the thoracic spine. Take a breath in, lengthen the fingertips, and then exhale, lower your hands. Good. Take a couple breaths here. Turn your back toes under, and let's walk the blocks or your fingertips back as you draw your hips back towards the back of your mat. Bring the toe tips towards the sky. Good. A couple breaths here. And then rocking forward, come back into your low lunge. Turn your back toes under, press back up. We'll take a twist. Lean gently onto your right block or onto the mat. Take your left hand to your hip and do your best to keep your hips organized so they're both in the same plane as the front of your mat. Take a breath in, lengthen the spine, and then twist. Twist the ribs around the axis of your spine. Good. Couple breaths here, grow long. Relax your face. On your next breath in, rotate back, bring your hand back to your block or the mat. And then we'll step up. Step your back foot up, Uttanasana. Firm into all four corners of your feet and take this opportunity to place your feet right under your hip sockets. On an inhalation, sweep your arms out to the sides, lengthen over the earth. And pressing into all four corners of the feet, inhale, lift up. And exhale, bring your hands back to prayer hands, Anjali Mudra, right in front of your heart. Take a couple of breaths here. Draw the belly in, lift the heart. Notice where your ears, shoulders, hips are in relationship to the rest of you. Starting with your feet. Soften your face. On your next breath in, take a press into your hands. Draw the shoulder blades towards one another. And as you exhale, release your hands to the sides. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Fingertips touch overhead. Exhale, hinge at the hips, open the arms, float down. Find your blocks or the mat. Inhale, lengthen, one head lift. Exhale, bow into the legs. Let's add one more head lift. Inhaling, lengthen, come halfway up. Exhale, bow in, bow to the legs. On your next breath in, bend your knees. Frame your feet with your hands or the blocks. And as you exhale, extend the left foot back behind you. Lengthen out through that back leg. Press into the back heel and bring your hands to your knee. Stay right here or bring the hands out to the sides. And on an inhalation, lift the fingertips high to the sky. Inhale here, exhale, lower down. Good. Take a breath in, press out through the back heel. And as you exhale, lower the knee to the mat. Lengthen the toes back behind that foot. And stay right here, or option to come up. Lengthen the arms to either side and pressing into all four corners of your front foot. Take a breath in, lift up, stay right here, or take a small back bend, bringing the fingertips towards one another up above. Make sure your back bend originates in your thoracic spine. Save your lumbar. Shoulder blades descending towards the hips. Inhale, come back to face forward. Inhale again, and as you exhale, lower the arms to your blocks. We'll take that half Hanumanasana, half splits pose, lifting the front toes up towards the sky. You can bring your blocks or your fingertips with you. Lengthen the tail towards the back of your mat. Take a couple of breaths here. Keep your spine long. Good, and then rocking forward. Turn your toes under, frame your front foot with your blocks or your hands, and press back up. Lunge pose, make sure you're on railroad tracks. And then lightly lowering onto your block or the mat, square your hips, please, with the front of your mat, and then take a breath in to lengthen the spine, and then rotate the ribs around your spine. Press out through that back heel. Stay very long through your spine, through the crown of your head. Take a breath in, grow a little longer. And as you exhale, return to lunge. Inhale. Bend your back knee and exhale, step up. Uttanasana, forward fold. Bring your feet right under your hip sockets and bring your hands to your hips. Take a breath in, lengthen the spine, lift halfway up. Firm into your feet. And on your next breath in, lift up with the strength of your legs. Release your hands to either side or bring them to Anjali Mudra. Your choice. Take a few breaths right here. Enjoy your breath. Feel your body. Do your best once again to stack your ears over your shoulders, over your hips, over your knees, over the ankles. Firming into the soles of your feet, your foundation. And let's practice pyramid pose together. So for this, you can lower your arms, bend your knees, and step your right foot back. Again, as though you're on railroad tracks. Take your hands to your hips, and the back foot, your right foot, can be at a 45-degree angle. Press into all four corners of both feet. Bring your hips to parallel the front edge of your mat. Then lengthen the arms to either side. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, hinge right at the hips and find your blocks or the mat. Keeping your hips in the same plane as the front of your mat. Take a couple of breaths here. Press into the outer edge of the back leg. Feel the stretch. Draw the belly in. And then bring your hands to your hips and lift back up. Step up. And we'll take the other side. Bend the knees and step your left foot back. Find the right spot for you. Maybe it's a little longer. Maybe it's a little shorter of a stance. Turn your hips so they parallel the front edge of the mat best you can. Take a breath in. Lower your hands to either side. Inhale. Exhale. Hinge at the hips and find your blocks or the mat. Keep your spine long. So if your blocks need to come up to help with that, bringing the floor up towards you, that's perfectly fine. Press into the outer edge of your back foot and all four corners of your front foot. So all four corners of both feet. The back foot tends to roll in. So lifting the inner ankle and pressing into the outer edge is helpful. Stay long through the spine. Take a breath in, bring both hands to your hips and step up. Find yourself up in Tadasana once again. Breathe here. And then we'll take a wide stance on the mat. For Virabhadrasana 2 and side angle pose. So we'll turn the right foot to parallel the long edge of the mat. Notice your left foot and press into all four corners of that foot. Firm into all four corners of both feet. Really feel your foundation and firm the muscles to the bones in the legs. On an inhalation, send the arms out to either side. And as you exhale, find your way into your best version of Virabhadrasana 2 or Warrior 2, bringing your knee right over the ankle foot and pressing into the outer edge of your back foot. Take a breath here and let it go. And then turn your palms to the sky and join me. Take a breath in, lengthen the front leg and lift the fingertips to touch overhead. Lengthen the spine, draw the belly in, exhale, lower down, bend into your front leg. Do your best to keep your torso vertical to the earth. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Come up, draw the belly in. Exhale, lower down, open the arms and hug the shoulder blades towards one another on the back. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Press into all four corners of both feet. Lower the shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, lower down. Good. From here, we're going to come into side angle pose. Bend your right forearm over that front leg. Hand to your hip, left hand to your hip. And then inhale and rotate the ribs around the axis of your spine. I think that's a really good visualization to see the ribs rotating around the spine. Let your tailbone angle back towards your back heel as you hug your right hip under you, staying long through the spine. Firm into the legs, hugging the muscles to the bones in the legs. You can isometrically draw the legs towards one another. Stay right here or lengthen your left arm out to the side. Turn the palm to the sky and then extend through those fingertips like one beautiful long line. Stay with your breath. Active legs supporting this pose, this posture. And on your next breath in, bring your left hand back to your hip. Beautiful. Take a breath here. And on the next breath in, lift back into Virabhadrasana 2. Inhale. Exhale, lengthen the leg, lower the arms, and pivot your right foot to face forward. Take your hands to your hips, and you can send your heels a little wider than your toes. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, hinging at the hip, lower down. Maybe you stay right here, just lengthening through the crown of your head. Maybe you bring your fingertips to the earth. Lifting the hips towards the sky and sending your heels out a little further, you can relax the spine, relax the head. Let gravity extend the spine and give you a nice little traction, natural traction. Take a couple of breaths here. If it feels good in your body, you can take your hands out behind you to the other side of your mat. Breathe into the stretch. Feel your hamstrings. Feel your calves. On an inhalation, bring your hands back to the earth. Lengthen your spine over the earth. Draw the belly in. Hug the muscles to the bones in your legs as you bring your hands to your hips, firming into both feet. Use the muscle energy in your legs to lift back up. Good. And then you can bring your feet back to parallel the short ends of your mat. Take a couple of breaths. You're doing beautiful work. And then we'll take it to the other side. Turn your left foot parallel the long edge of the mat. Set yourself up. Firm the muscles to the bones in the legs. Firm into both feet. Take a breath in, send the arms out to either side, and as you exhale, bend into that front knee. Lift through the torso so it's perpendicular to the earth, to your mat. Take a breath in and turn the palms to the sky. And as you exhale, lengthen the front leg, lift the arms up to the sky. Take a breath in. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Come up. Press into all four corners of both feet. Lift that back inner ankle. Exhale, lower down. Hug the muscles to the bones in the legs. Bring that front knee over the ankle foot. And on an inhalation, lift up. Reach out through the fingertips. Lengthen through the side bodies. You're doing great. Exhale, lower down. Beautiful. Hug that left hip under. Firm into all four corners of both feet. And we'll come into side angle pose. Prasarita Padottanasana in Sanskrit. Lower the left forearm to your thigh. And then consciously revolve the ribs around the spine. Staying right here is perfectly fine. Or option to take your right arm out to the side, turn the palm to the sky, and lengthen over the ear. Reaching out from the fingertips to that back heel. Tuck your left hip under. Send the tailbone at an angle all the way back towards your heel so your spine is nice and long. Breathe here. Enjoy the stretch. Hug the muscles to the bones and the legs. Keep them actively drawing towards one another. And then on an inhalation, lift back up. Virabhadrasana 2. You're doing great. Take a breath in. And on an exhalation, lengthen the leg and lower the arms. Pivot your left foot so your both feet are facing forward. If you'd like to get a block, please go right ahead. Feel comfortable using a block here. We're going to take Parsvakonasana, or wide-legged forward fold. Again, this time we'll do some lunges. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, hinge and fold forward. If you're using a block, feel fine about finding your block. And actually, you can bend your knees here. So we're in like a big wide malasana or wide squat. And then from here, walk both hands to the left, lengthening the right leg, hug the muscles to the bones to protect your ligaments. Next breath in, go the other way. Walk your hands to the right. Hug those muscles to the bones in your extended leg. Inhale, come the other way once again. On your next inhalation, walk over to the right. And then back to the middle. You can send your heels out. That gives a little more width through the pelvis, more space for the sacrum. Perhaps you lift your hips up towards the sky and let the spine just hang here, the head relaxed, the spine relaxed. Soften your face. On your next breath in, begin to lengthen the spine and firm into all four corners of your feet. Come parallel to the earth. Bring your hands to your hips. And again, with the strength of your legs, lift up. And you can heel toe your feet towards one another until you can step in to Tadasana. Beautiful, beautiful work, everyone. Let's come to face the front of the mat. And then take a little bit of a wide stance. You may want to bring a block with you to come into Malasana or garland pose. It's also known as. So you can lower your hips to the block and bring your elbows inside your knees. Enjoy a few breaths here. Do your best to keep your spine long. So if you find yourself hunching, maybe the block needs to come up. Best to keep the spine long. That's what we're working with. Doing our best to bring length to a spine whose cultural proclivities are hunching over. So we want to teach our cells, our bodies, our fibers, our fascia to relearn staying nice and long. We'll take a couple more breaths here. And then we're going to sit back, and you can remove the block and maybe bring your knees to the mat so you can nicely find your blanket. And we'll sit on the blanket and take Navasana, boat pose. So finding a seat on your blanket. My intention had been to lower down from Malasana nicely to Navasana, but I forgot to mention bringing a blanket. So here we are, feet out in front. Place the soles of your feet on the mat with your second toes facing away, feet hip width distance, knees hip width distance. A little core work here. So start by drawing the shoulder blades towards one another on the back body. Draw the belly in, lift the heart, lengthen the neck, and just lean back. Firm into your feet, lengthen back a little more, draw the belly in. Take a breath in here and hinging at the hip. Keep drawing the belly in as you lengthen yourself over your legs. Maybe wrapping your arms around your thighs as you keep your spine long. And then inhale, exhale, release and lean back. Hold your hands around your thighs. Lift your chest, lift your heart, lengthen your neck. Feel into that sensation. And on your next inhalation, grow the spine long, draw the belly in, hinge at the hip, and come forward, keeping your spine long, your neck long. Let your gaze follow your spine or even close your eyes so your neck and your head remain one long line with your spinal column. Draw the belly in. Inhale, release your hands to your thighs and open up into that backward, nice positioning. From here, if it feels good in your body, you can bring your toes to the mat, maybe walking your feet a little closer. Keep lifting your heart, drawing the shoulder blades towards one another on your back, and lengthening through the crown of your head. An option to take your fingers, your hands, palms to the sky, out in front of you. Maybe you stay right there, or lift the legs. An option, stay long through the spine. Got a couple more breaths here. Inhale, exhale, lower your feet and come up. Lengthen the neck, sit up nice and tall. Take a couple of breaths here. And then we're going to lower down onto our backs. You can move the blanket off to the side. Roll down best you can. So your feet are on the mat, knees bent in constructive rest pose where we began. Notice your spine. Lengthen through the tailbone, lengthen through the back of the neck. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, draw your knees in towards your chest. Keep your feet actively dorsiflexed, relaxing your shoulders. Couple of breaths here. Bring your hands to your kneecaps and circle them. Do your best to massage all of your sacrum. And then go the other direction. From here, take a breath in as you pause, and as you exhale, lower your feet to the mat. We'll practice Bananasana, one version. Take a breath in and draw your left heel towards your sits bone. Clasp your left hand around the left ankle. Inhaling, lift your right arm up to the skies. Reach out through the fingertips, and as you exhale, draw the head of the arm bone into the shoulder socket. On your next inhalation, lengthen the arm overhead, Let it come to rest on the earth behind you. Take a breath in and lengthen your right leg out along the mat. On your next breath in, you can take your arm, your upper body, and your right leg to the left. Do your best to keep your sacrum fully resting on the mat. Your shoulders and shoulder blades resting on the earth as well. Know that you can hug in on that ankle to increase the stretch along your right side body. Breathe into the stretch. Soften the face, the jaw, the shoulders. Breathe into sensations. Connect with that inner intention or inner guidance for your practice. And may we be patient and peaceful. May we be loving and kind to one another and to ourselves. We'll stay here for 3 more breath cycles. And on your next inhalation, bring your upper body back to the center of your mat. You can lower your arm and bring your leg back to the center of your mat as well. Bring that right foot to come closer to your hips. We'll come into constructive rest pose once again. Take a couple of breaths here. And on your next inhalation, draw your right heel towards your right sits bone. Find that ankle with your hand, with your right hand. Next breath in, lift your left arm up to the sky, reach out through the fingertips. And as you exhale, draw the head of the arm bone down and into the shoulder socket. Inhale, lengthen that arm overhead. Let it find its way to the earth. Take another breath in, and as you exhale, lengthen the left leg. And then inhaling, walk your upper body over to the right, bringing your left leg, that way as well. Do your best to keep your sacrum resting on the earth, your shoulders as well. Breathe into the stretch. Breathe into the sensations. Enjoy your breath, enjoy the stretch. Allow yourself to notice any differences or samenesses on this side. Just notice whatever shows up with curiosity and interest. No judgment, no criticism. Just noticing what is as you stay with your breath. If you have tightness through the QL, your quadratus lumborum muscle that runs between the upper hips or tops of your pelvis to your lower ribs, this is a good stretch. We'll stay here for 2 or 3 more breath cycles. Enjoy your breath. And on your next inhalation, you can lower that left arm and bring your upper body back to the center of your back. Take another breath in to bring your leg back as well. Maybe lifting your hips back to center. Bring both feet back to hip width distance apart. Take a few breaths. Notice where your tailbone is. If there's an arch in your back, lift your hips just a little. Lengthen through the tailbone, the lower portion of your spine. Notice your chin, the back of your neck. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, draw both knees in towards your chest. Keep your feet actively dorsiflexed. If it feels good, you can rock from side to side. Enjoy your body, enjoy the stretch, your breath, your practice. Soften your shoulders, your neck, and your jaws. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, lower your feet to the mat. Open your arms to either side. We'll take a twist, pressing into all 4 corners of both feet. Take a breath in and lift your hips to the right side of your mat. Let the breath go, and on your next breath in, lift your feet, your knees, your legs up. And as you exhale, send them to the left side of your mat, lifting your right hip towards your knees, perhaps looking towards your right fingertips, doing your best to keep both shoulders on the mat. Maybe you take your left hand to your upper thigh, encouraging the twist, maybe not. Listen to your body. Breathe. Do your best to lengthen the upper hip away from the ribs, more towards the foot of the mat. Soften your face, your jaw, your neck. Breathe into that side body stretch all the way from the armpit, through the ribs, the lung, side waist, the hip. To come out of the twist, open the arms again to either side. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, lift your knees back up. Set your feet on the earth. Take a breath in to lift your hips back to center. We'll take it to the other side. Pressing into all four corners of both feet. Take a breath in and lift your hips to the left. On your next inhalation, lift your feet, knees, legs up off the mat. And as you exhale, send them over to the right, doing your best to keep your left shoulder on the mat, lifting your left hip towards your knees, and you can bring your right hand to your upper thigh if that's helpful. If it feels good in your practice, you can turn to look towards your left fingertips. Enjoying your breath, soften your face, your neck, your shoulders, your jaws. Make sure to press that upper hip away from the ribs towards the foot of the mat. Take a few breaths, breathe fully, deeply from your armpit all the way down the side body into the hip. To come out of the twist, open the arms out to either side. Take a breath in and lift your knees up. Exhale, lower your feet to the mat. Lift your hips back to center and take a breath in to draw your knees towards your chest. Flex your feet, relax your shoulders. Lengthen the skin along the back of your neck. Enjoy your breath. If you'd like to find happy baby pose, please do. Find your feet, your thighs, your knees, your shins, whatever works for you in your body. You can roll from side to side if that feels good. Draw your knees towards the earth. Enjoy the stretch. Breathe. If your feet and hand meet one another, press your feet into your hands into your feet for an isometric stretch. Send your breath into your root chakra, your pelvic floor, your groins, your hips, your sacrum. Enjoy your breath. And bring your knees back together in Apanasana, lengthening the back of your neck. Hug in. And if it feels good in your practice, you can lift your head, your forehead towards your knees, getting small. And then inhale, exhale, release into Shavasana. Let your feet have some distance between them. And make sure your weight is evenly distributed on your sacrum, shoulder blades under your back, palms towards the sky. Lengthen the back of your neck. Take a deep, deep, luxurious breath in. And as you exhale, let it flow all the way out, your fingertips and toe tips. Take another one like that. And let it go. Relax everything. Feel your skin as it drapes over your muscles and bones. Feel your muscles as they release away from the bones and melt down into the earth. And feel your bones as they grow heavy, heavier and heavier, more and more dense, sinking down, down into your mat, into the earth. And let go. Let go of thoughts. And begin to notice the sounds. And notice the colors behind your eyelids. Notice the sensations of the air on your skin. Notice any smells that might be present. Awakening to the senses, feeling the breath in the body. If it feels appropriate for you, you could bring one hand to your heart and one to your belly. And just notice the rise and the fall of your chest and your belly with each breath in and out. The friendliness of your breath. And from here, you can begin to rotate wrists and ankles. And take a feel-good stretch. Take a breath in and stretch however it feels best in your body. And let that breath go. On your next inhalation, roll to your right side. And take a few breaths. Right there. And on your next breath in, use your hands and your arms to help press up. Find your way back to your seat, on your mat, on your blanket, or a block. Sit up nice and tall. And take a moment. Please join me in bringing your hands together in Anjali Mudra, prayer hands. And just let's take a moment to bow our heads to our own hearts. With curiosity for what is blooming there as spring becomes more expressive in our own beings. What's going to bloom in this very active, dynamic season that we are opening into? And with gratitude for that continual expression of life as it bursts forth within us and everything else on this planet. And gratitude for one another. And my urge is to just simply stop there. With gratitude for one another, let's send some metta out from our hearts to all that is. May all beings everywhere be happy and peaceful, healthy and strong, safe, protected, filled with loving kindness and forgiveness. And may all beings everywhere live with ease and with grace all the days of their lives. May this be so. Let's close with one Om. Let's just simply inhale and begin. Om. And lifting your eyes, join me in one namaste to each one of us. Namaste to each one of you. Love you so much. Thank you so much. And to you too, Stella.